So I'm here with FELICES, the co-founder and director of the Iberodocs Film Festival in Edinburgh. Welcome to the show, Mar.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the festival, which is going on in Edinburgh at the moment and has some events in Glasgow later next month. So just to start off with, tell us a little bit more about the festival's history and why you co-founded it.
Okay. So when I first arrived in Edinburgh in 2012, my focus was on my own documentary project about my grandfather, and I was looking for people involved in the world of documentaries. And I became aware that although there was a rich and vibrant calendar of cultural events in Edinburgh, there was a gap in terms of both documentaries and Hispanic culture. One of the people that I met was José Ramón Rivas, who was working at the International Film Festival where we met, and we joined forces and shaped Iberodocs together. Him taking care of the logistic part of the festival and me taking care of the artistic side.
Great. And one thing I wanted to ask you about was the film festival scene in Edinburgh. It's very crowded. There's a lot of film festivals. And what I was wondering, because I've asked this of other festival directors, does that make it easier because there's an energised audience that is very familiar with events like it? Or do you find it harder because you're then competing for attention in a kind of a crowded marketplace?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think in terms of logistics, it can make scheduling tricky in terms of venue booking or finding the right date for our events. However, having a lot of different organizations offering interesting programs, it is also very inspiring. And on the other hand, I think it's fantastic to have such an engaging and interesting audience with their mind open. I believe they appreciate that we are bringing many premieres to Scotland. In fact, this crowded scene encouraged us to be more innovative.
Yeah, and I can certainly tell that from the schedules. A lot of very good events on there, beyond films. Even I was speaking at your launch to somebody who's running a dance workshop, which I have two left feet, so I don't think it's really for me. But it's great that you're doing those additional sort of events. On the topic of kind of getting into the scene and working with other people and having that energised audience, you've actually worked with several other film festivals to put events on this year. I've seen there's Take One Action, there's Document Film Festival, and you're doing screenings with them at the CCA in Glasgow. So how did that come about? What was the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, well, I remember the very first year with the screening of Kachkaniragmi, many people were making their journey from Glasgow to Edinburgh specifically to attend this film. And we found out because in the feedback forms that we shared with the audience, it was this request to do the festival in Glasgow. So we take our audience seriously and their feedback, so this is why we are also running events at CCA. And in terms of collaborations with other film festivals, well, I think why to compete when you can collaborate, right?
Exactly.
Yes, as you said, so there are many festivals that I really admire, like Take One Action or Document in Glasgow, so I think we are very lucky that we are collaborating with them this year. And also with great institutions like Edinburgh College of Art, Scottish Documentary Institute, that they were supporting us from the very beginning. So I think these collaborations have allowed us to reach a wider range of people. And at the beginning, 70% of our audience were Spanish. However, thanks to a network of mutual supports with local organizations, we can see from our feedback forms that now over 70% of our audience are local.
That evolution of the audience is very interesting. Actually, if anything, it probably speaks to that idea that you have this energised audience that is engaging, and it's 6 years the festivals. This is the sixth
edition.
year. Yeah. So you can see that evolution over time. Now, obviously, the festival is called Iberodocs. The focus is documentary, but you've actually got a short film program in partnership with Edinburgh Short Film Festival this year. So, according, Paul, who's hosting the show, is will be very familiar with that program. And obviously, some of those films blend fictional narrative elements. There's some narrative shorts, and some of the films themselves that they're screening as part of the program kind of maybe go beyond what somebody would call classical documentary. So what I was wondering was, what do you try and look for in the films on the programme that do that go beyond that? What is it you look for as the festival director?
Mm-hmm. Well, I am specialized in creative documentary filmmaking, so I find very interesting blending different formats. And we have always included hybrids into our program, but yes, this year we have pushed the boundaries a bit more. This year makes the first time that we have ever screened a purely fictional piece with Yuli, which was screened at Rose Theatre and was followed by a wonderful Q&A with Tamara from Take One Action and Paul Laverty. And there were many reasons behind. One of them is that director Isiar Boyain likes to work with non-actors, and the fact that the narrative is a biographical story of Carlos Acosta's journey made it important to include it in our program as a special event. In relation to the Edinburgh Short Film Festival program that we put together, out of the 8 films that we are showing, only 3 are purely fictional. And taking feedback from our Dog and Wine, the fundraising event that we do at Christmas, we discovered that the audience enjoy a mixture of documentary and fiction. And being Iberodocs a cultural platform, we embrace all kinds of art forms, from dance to music to photography, and our audience tell us that this makes the experience of the films richer and offers more of an insight into the cultures that we focus on.
Okay. And on the topic of, cultural platform, like obviously you've got this overarching theme for the festival, and I was wondering how you came to this year's festival theme. One of the films that I saw recently ahead of its screening was The Keys to Memory, which is directed by Jesus Ernesto, and it fits very beautifully within that theme, and the other films on the programme do as well. So for me, it's kind of a chicken and egg scenario. I was wondering what came first. Was it the films and what's on the programme, or the theme and then you selected the films? I'm interested in how that came about.
Yeah. Well, for me, intuition comes first. I'm constantly watching trailers and requesting films to watch, but also directors approach us offering their films to be considered, like The Keys to Memory from Jesus Ernesto. Then I start selecting films and finding connections between them, so the program starts taking shape. Regarding the themes, we always explore topics related to the immigrant journey and represent a step towards starting a new life in a different culture. Previous themes were integration, boundaries, empowerment. This year we have chosen memory and identity, as we found that a common theme that ran through our selection was the process of reevaluating identity through memory, or there is no identity without memory.
So obviously the festival started earlier this month in April. It keeps going until quite late May in Glasgow, in fact, because with the events that we've spoken about at the CCA. How has it gone so far? How are you finding audiences are engaging with the films?
Well, I think we had quite positive feedback from audience so far. The first week was the hardest one because it was a week of first times. We have our first gig at Rose Theatre with Kiko Veneno, over 250 people coming, and there were obviously challenges, but I think we have overcome them and we learned from them. It was also the first time that we were screening movies at the Rose Theatre, and being a theatre and not a cinema. Obviously there were some technical parts that could be improved, but we will take this in consideration for next time. But in general, the feeling from the audience was really good. The artists, Kiko Veneno, Rafael Sar from Jorimata, Julia Drummond, an artist that came from Brazil to play as well with us. They left really happy and they are looking forward to come back again. So I think I give that just to see people that I really admire thanking the festival and the organization and the audience, the experience that we had. I think this is the feeling that I would like to keep.
Yeah, it's great. I'm really gutted I couldn't make it along to that. Was that after the film Cameron Flamenco y Revolucion?
Yeah,
that one.
well,
that was certainly one of them. Yeah, yeah. No, it looked really very interesting. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is because obviously some festivals play around a little with their schedules, because the typical format, which a lot still go for, is over the week or 10 days, 8 days or something. It gets flown through. loads of events. Some festivals have mixed that up a bit, and I've noticed Iberodocs is one of them. You've got events kind of mainly on weekends, some midweek, but it's kind of spread out. What drove that decision? Because again, I've asked other festival directors about it, and they all have their own reasons. So why have you chosen to go that route?
Yeah. Well, last year we ran 21 events in 4 days. So
Wow.
that makes first the team to be exhausted. Also, you don't have time to spend with the directors. The directors are also running around because they also want to watch the films of other directors, and then they're taking part in debates, in panel discussions, and they also want to know the city. And one of our sponsors, Viajar por Escocia, they offer them tours around the city, and they don't have time to do them. And then also the audience, well, we have the feedback that there are many that they want to go to many different events, but obviously they don't have the time or the budget to go to so many in just 4 days. So we wanted to do like a stress-free festival.
I can get behind that idea. I can very much get behind that idea. That's great. That's great. So thinking about what is still to come in the festival. So obviously we are broadcasting on the 23rd. So there's still quite a lot to come from the festival beyond that. What are some of the... Now, obviously, you're going to be a bit biased, but what would you say are the highlights to come in the festival? Because you've got guests, you've got more films.
Yeah.
What would you pick out to let people know about?
Well, especially the 4th and the 5th of May, because we have Jesus Armesto coming, and we're doing this screening in collaboration with Take One Action Film Festival and also Scottish Documentary Institute. And then the 5th of May, we're doing the collaboration with Paul and with Edinburgh Short Film Festival. And this selection is really good. It's going to be over 2 hours of short films. We have 3 filmmakers coming for the Q&A. And yeah, it's going to be very good, this one. I mean, for me, it's very difficult to choose. But also there is a screening of Solar Lands. It's a movie about the travel of the poet Rubén Darío to Andalusia. This is really good, and we have also the president and the director of the Andalusian Audiovisual Foundation coming. That's the 25th of April, and then also 23 shots from Jorge Laplace, that he is going to join us as well.
And he's doing a master class as well. Yeah.
Scottish Documentary Institute, and he's brilliant. I mean, every time that he goes on radio, he goes like completely viral. So yeah, it's gonna be a very nice experience. So.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a good range of events, and I've seen some of the films in the short film festival. The short film program. Particularly, I think there's one animation which is Colombian, I think, if I remember correctly, and it's really quite something. I saw it before, and it takes a while to get out of your head. It's really quite vibrant and bizarre. It'd be a wonderful thing to see. So I think people should definitely check that out, and the other events that are going to be going on.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got a lot of great events. People are going to want to know more about them, where they can get tickets, where they're happening. Presumably they can go to the Iberodocs website for that.
Yeah, iberodocs.org.
Okay.
On our social media channels, we have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Great. And obviously on the Cinetopia accounts, we'll let people know about the events that are going on and what to do about that. So thank you for coming, Mar. It's been great talking to you. I hope the rest of the festival goes extremely well. The programme looks great. I'm sure people are going to love it.
Thank you very much.